influence. That's the biggest.
Creator AMA. This is the one you've all been waiting for, right? We've got Luke with me now. There's a lot of you who are newly joined TRW, the real world. So what I'm going to do is hand it over to Luke. He's going to go through who he is, which hopefully you all should know by now, and his thoughts on CC plus AI. And then what we'll do from there, we'll start picking out some questions and attacking the Q&A straight away. So everybody, a warm welcome to my mentor, the G himself, Luke. How you doing, Luke? You
Cool.
might
Now
be
you
on
guys,
mute. Yes.
you guys should be able to hear me now. Hey, how's everyone doing? And I'm Luke. I'd consider my skill set to be in marketing and sales. And you guys are in one of the coolest campuses ever. I remember I've been a big proponent of this campus and mentioned how the world doesn't have. I want you guys to understand this because I think it's a very important thing. It's something I keep telling everyone I know. Finding very good content creators in the form of video editors is extremely rare. And I think you guys are in a spot to where, and I'm sure many of you guys have noticed, I looked at your leaderboard and your leaderboard is very impressive. And I'm sure many of you guys have noticed that there's no real insane video editors out there. Like Pope is one of them. Pope's one of those insane video editors that when you find them, you're like, man, like I need more of them. And that's kind of where the birth of this campus came up with, because I think there's a lot of professionals out there, a lot. Like I do mean like you guys are probably one of the most in demand professions currently, because a lot of people, they want to be the guy in front of the video. They want to be the guy making the actual recording. But so much of the art, I think almost like when they make movies, I think one of the most important people, if not the most important person, is actually the editor. It's the guy who gets all the raw footage and edits at the end, because you can put such a spin on it. I've worked with tens or 20s of editors out there in the world, and I can tell you that they make a massive difference based on their skill set. So I do want to give you guys a quick shout out on that, because I've been a massive fan of this campus. I love what you guys are taught, and I think you guys are really taught at world level content creation, and I think it's the most important thing. So welcome, guys, and that's kind of me, and I just want to let you guys know you guys are in the right place.
Cool. So we'll get straight into the questions. There's so many questions, Luke. It's surreal, right? But there's actually a question here from Abid, I believe his name is. and it's something that I would actually love to kind of explore as well. It's where did you get all your amazing knowledge, and what business did you get to start to gain that knowledge from?
So you get knowledge just through working hard. I really think that that's it. And I think all of you guys listening to this, if you guys spend your time really wisely and you don't waste your time playing video games or you don't waste your time doing things, like if you spend your time very consciously, like I am using this time to get better at this, or I am using this time to do this, or I'm using this time to do that, you'll become a very, very smart individual just as you get older. Just all your 24 hours are being spent very wisely. And all the experiences that you have through those adventures you do over your 24 hours, or through those things you try and accomplish, but you fail and then you get back up and you try again, all that stuff is kind of where you learn. And I learned from doing marketing and sales for a few different businesses and brands. And that's kind of where my experience came from. It's just about trying to trying to reach a goal, right? You set a goal, like for you guys, I believe a lot of you guys are probably trying to work on getting your first clients, right? You get your first client, then your second goal is how do I get my second client, or how do I get a higher paying client? And you kind of go down this route, and eventually maybe you'll learn on the way, okay, well, the reason I don't get many clients is because the content I make isn't so great yet. It's not good enough to be worth the price tag. Or maybe that's not your issue at all. Maybe your issue is you're just not good at selling yourself, right? So maybe it's a sales issue. And as you continue to try and fix the goal, which is to get your second or get your first or get your 10th client, whatever it may be, you're going to start to, maybe you'll okay, I'll try and be better at selling myself. Okay, well, that kind of worked, but it didn't really work. Okay, let me try and get some content creation better. Okay, that super worked. Now I've got this client. As soon as I showed him this video that I made, he immediately, boom, that was it. And like, just like that, you kind of, as you pursue your goal, you'll kind of know what you need to learn. And as long as you're spending your time wisely, the 24 hours a day you have, you'll end up much smarter than me, guys. So many of you guys are so much younger than I was when I ever really, I'd say, took life seriously. I spent a lot of time playing video games and stuff. So you guys are all destined to be smarter than me if you guys continue on this path.
Yeah, and I say this a lot. I mean, a lot of the aspirations for the professors here, geez, for all of you listening, is we have been through a decade or maybe even longer acquiring this knowledge, and what we're trying to do is condense it to a point where you can just take out all the fluff, all the BS we've been through, absorb that information, and get ahead of us very quickly. So yeah, you've got to pay attention to the lessons. You've got to pay attention to your professors. It's absolutely fundamental. So I've got another one here for you, Luke. It's from Yaha, and he basically says, is there a significant impact currently from artificial intelligence on the market, or is the real impact yet to come?
So I actually think, I think that you guys are probably the only serious, like, influx of people actually using AI properly. I actually think we're really the cutting edge of this. So I can almost guarantee you that when you guys go and you guys are talking to your clients, you're going to smoke anyone who, on the speed and quality, because AI is a very impressive thing, because also it allows you to make things very quickly. Like this, I think you guys can all see this little Pepe one. I was testing out their powers, and before my Pepe had a hood, he didn't have the gun, he didn't have the badge, he wasn't a cowboy at all. And within, I think, like 30 minutes max, after a couple, like I first asked for the hat, then I asked for the hat to change colors, then I asked if you can put a star on it, then I asked for the gun, and just using AI, it was able to be swapped so quickly that I do want you guys to understand that I've worked with artists many, many times, and they can't do that. When an artist or designer gives you a design, you can't just say, oh, wait, can you change this? Can you change that? Can you change this? And then have the changes done and finalized within 30 minutes. That doesn't happen. So I want you guys, I don't think that many people realize that power of AI and how business owners, we just want the design to be done. We just want the content to be made, whether it's a video or whether it's an image. We just want it to be good. We just want it to be good and how we like it. And if you can do that quickly, if you can quickly pivot, which AI allows you to, it's really I think it's something that's it's not understood yet. I still think there's a lot of business owners out there who are paying too much for designs from some artist who's too slow and can't adapt fast enough. And they're like, this is kind of just okay. Or same with videos and everything. So I don't think AI has hit the market yet. I think you guys are still you guys are still faster than everyone else out there. Eventually, the world will catch up. But right now, I think you guys are way ahead of everyone. I have yet to have a video editor come in with that I didn't teach or that didn't learn inside of the real world and come in and say, hey, I do this AI stuff too. I've yet to have it. I've yet to have someone give me a pitch as a web designer and say, "Hi, look, I also can make these images. Boom, 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 boom. Tell me what you want, and I'll make it in 15 minutes, and I'll show you how fast I will get these websites out and how fast I'll make them perfect, exactly how you like it." Because that stuff can only be done with AI, and I think the world is still asleep on it. So you guys are way ahead of the game.
Yeah, and geez, look, with the Stable Diffusion Masterclass coming out, I'm gonna be putting all of you at even further ahead, right? So some people are just embarking on mid journey, some people are just embarking on the third party tools, I've called them. When the masterclass drops in 48 hours, you will have literally everything at your fingertips that everyone who's exploring AI at the forefront will have. And we will continuously be giving you that information. So you're always ahead of the curve. That's the plan here. So geez, you got to understand that's like very important. And then there's another thing that Luke's just mentioned, and I want to just go over again, right? The difference between working with like a high ticket client, let's just say, or a average business owner is fundamentally speed. If you can deliver something to a high pay or a potential high ticket client at speed, effortlessly, like you're not badgering them, they don't need to guide you. You do it with such great execution, I promise you, you will land that client straight off the bat. Um, I've worked with multiple clients, and as you all know, I only now work with TRW, Luke, Tate, and the entire Cobra Tate team. And for me, I believe one of the key things was that when I get sent an order or a particular edit that needs to get done, I just do it extremely fast, extremely proficient because I've built the skill. And I don't necessarily bother anyone for like, hey, what about this? What about this? Get the delivery sent back and everyone's happy. You've got to get yourself into that type of mind frame and that type of mindset when working with clients. So with that being said, there's a great question here. I see this quite a lot in my campus as well, Luke, and it's more about mindset and it's about dealing with failure and setbacks. What type of strategies do you think are fundamental when bouncing back from a setback or a failure?
So that's a good question because it's really it's almost just a very simple answer, right? There's no special answer to it. It's just you got to get back to work and find out where you failed and try again. That's really as simple as it is. You should be failing quite quickly because you're moving quite quickly. So it should be okay. Boom, failed. Okay, try again. How did I fail? Why did I fail? And just get back on the horse. Again, it comes down to spending your 24 hours very wisely and just get it done. I mean, what else are you going to do? I saw Tristan do this analogy. It's like, what else are you going to do? You're just going to cry about it and just do nothing? Are you going to give up? Because I guarantee you giving up's not the answer. Giving up's not going to get you what you want. So the answer is not to give up. And then what? Are you gonna cry or are you gonna go watch a movie because you need a break? Like none of those will help you. So it's just jumping back on the horse and getting back to it and trying to not fail a second time and get the job done. It's really the only mindset I can imagine to have.
Yeah, and I mean, geez, you don't be looking for a pat on the back, a hug to say, "Oh, it's gonna all be better." I promise you, sometimes the route to success is lonely, but that's why a Lamborghini has two seats, right? And a bus has 80 seats. I always use that analogy. I love it. You just gotta have that mindset that regardless of whatever life throws at you, you're just gonna absolutely get back up if it does knock you to your legs. Because yeah, exactly what Luke's saying. What else is there actually for you to do? Like, genuinely, think about it. Cool. So we got another question here. It's from Seth Thompson's best fan. Shout out all the Seth Thompson. Seth Thompson's one of the captains, and he's built himself a little fan base, which is great.
Nice.
Um, so I think, well, what he's actually asking is, and it's a great question. It's more personalized to you, Luke. It's what's your story? Tell us about yourself, Luke.
Um, my story very it's just I was a video game I'd consider myself a video game addict. I was a very heavy video game player for a lot of my life, especially a lot of my childhood, and I think that was very helpful for me. But eventually you learn to quit the games, right? So I quit probably around 18. I went to college. I had some issues, so I couldn't afford college anymore, and then I was kind of on my own. I went to computer science. Computer science didn't really work out. That's when you guys hear about this Chipotle stuff. And then I heard from Andrew and Tristan, came to them, and then started working on some online marketing and sales, and that's really it. The story is really quite simple, guys. It's not a very complex story, and yeah, that's really it.
Yeah. Luke, interesting question here from Adrian, right? How is Luke implementing AI into his own personal work?
So AI for us, we're using it massively. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the Tales of Udon stuff, but it's a lot. AI is very, very useful because it allows us to make changes very, very quickly. Like I gave the example with this. I think the biggest power of AI is it allows you to make things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to make, or you wouldn't otherwise want to make. Right? Like the Tales of Udon stories, those are all made purely via AI, and those are like for before AI existed to imagine to have those made, we would have genuinely had to have got an animator. And I've actually looked into an animator before. It would have been
Mm,
something like $150,000 to get
yeah.
animated. It would have been full teams, and it would have been like months of work to get one story done. And that's where AI has changed the game. AI has changed the game because it makes content viable to make. Like it's worth paying the team who makes it. It's completely worth it. They can do it quickly. It's worth it on their side, and then we're happy with the outs. We're happy with the output. So it's just AI's changed the game on speed. It's changed the game on how. I don't want to say cheap because I don't want you guys to think that what you guys do is cheap. You guys should be billing your client based on what the outcome is, right? It doesn't matter how fast you make it. I don't care how fast the Tales of Udon are made. I don't like in terms of how long it took them or how much effort it took them. I just want them to be perfect. I just want them to be exactly what I want, right? But it's giving you this speed to where you can make things so quickly and so efficiently that it's just now people want art for everything. If I had to make a t-shirt, I can only you'd have to go through AI to make that t-shirt now. If you get an artist, the artist will make one little thing, right? Let's say you want to have a logo for a company. If you're a company and you've started to make some money, so now you want a better logo, you want a new logo. You can go one of two routes. One, you can hire an artist, and the artist is going to try and make you a logo. And then if you don't like it, he's going to be like, okay, well, you need to pay me for this logo because I can't just change this, or I need this amount of money to change this because changing this is going to take another 20 hours of me working on this. Versus AI, he can just come to you with a panel and say, boom, 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 boom. Which direction do you like? And then as a business owner, you can very easily just be like, okay, well, I like that direction, but let me change this, 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 this. And then they just go back, they come back, okay, I have this, 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 this. Which one do you like? Like it's such a very quick process that will absolutely, because you can give them so many options so quickly, the customer satisfaction, your client's satisfaction is going to be so high because you can literally just fine tune it to what they want. Any art style, if you want it more anime, you want it more cartoon, you want it more realistic, you want it like a painting, AI can do all that. It turns you into this super soldier who can make any piece of content very quickly and exactly to how your client wants it to be done. So that's where AI is completely changing the world, and that's where we're applying it. The biggest thing we're applying on is these AI pictures. I don't know if you guys have seen. We've got the Heroes of Udon. There's so many things that AI. There's so much art that AI has allowed us to make. It's given us a possibility to make things that we wouldn't normally be able to make. It just wouldn't be cost. It just wouldn't make sense cost wise.
Yeah.
AI has completely changed that game.
And at a top end content creation level, like if you're really proficient in editing, I promise you some of the things that AI enables you to integrate into your edits, it's gobsmacking. Like honestly, sometimes I sit there and I think, wow, is that what we've actually got our hands on now? It's literally Hollywood level of like um I don't know, VFX, SFX, all that type of stuff. It's crazy. We've got it at our fingertips now. You just gotta get into the White Path Plus and make sure you understand, absorb all the tools I'm giving you, and integrate it into your content creation. You will blow clients away. I promise you. Um,
One thing, and guys, I do want to make sure that you understand that this is only the beginning.
yeah,
To any content creator out there, to any editor out there who's not using AI, their time is quickly expiring because they're simply not competitive. Like they're not going to be competitive. This is just the beginning. This is we're at where AI is at now. Imagine where it is in 2 years, or imagine where it is in 1 year from now. The amount of stuff that's going to be able to be made at the speed it can be made is going to be mind. You just can't compete. If an editor decides I don't want to use AI at all, or if a content creator decides I don't want to use AI at all, they're simply going to lose. They're going to be trying to work for a client, And the client's got this AI guy who can do a billion things, and he just like in 30 minutes, versus this guy who's like, oh, well, that's not really my style. Or, oh, okay, well, I'll try and find the assets for that. Or I'll try and find this. Okay, let me look. Like maybe we can do it. I'll have to research and let you know. Like the AI guy can just be like, cool, yep, I understand exactly what I need to make. Now I just need to make it. And
Yeah.
he can make it with speed. It's a complete different ball game. I don't think anyone will be able to get clients in the future once AI becomes the norm. Because right now,
Yeah.
AI guys smoke anyone who's not using AI. If you're not using AI and you're an editor or content creator or any sort of designer, you're getting screwed. You're fucked. So you guys are in the perfect spot. And that's why we got you guys here. So you guys can take everyone's jobs who's not using AI.
Yeah, practically. And geez, you got to understand, we've already seen this with artists, right? Video is like the optimum form of communication or medium in which we communicate on social media. Those are people who are creating still art. They're already started to fade away. Whoever wasn't interested in integrating AI art into their work, I've actually witnessed them fade away. Now, as like any content creation or any innovation does, it eventually starts moving towards video because it's the dominant medium in which we communicate content creation everywhere: Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever social media platform. So if you're going to sit there and say, okay, I'm a great content creator, but I refuse to integrate AI, you will get punished by those who are utilizing it, capitalizing on it, and absolutely killing it. So it is what it is, G's. It's part of the natural growth that is happening around us. Okay. Next question we've got is from Raffle. How can I manage my time now that I'm on a school break? Also, how can I manage my time when school started again? So I guess he's asking more about time management with school integrated into it.
Yeah, so I'll answer this very quickly, because these are quite simple answers, I guess. It's just you need to be using your time very effectively, right? So, one, all of you guys should be working out once a day. This is why I tell my campus is extremely important. And look, some of you guys might say, "Okay, Luke, well, I just want to get rich. I don't care how my body is." Look, your body, your brain is part of your body. I promise you that if you looked at yourself, you had two parallel universes, one where you worked out every single day and did everything the same, and the other one where you didn't work out every single day. I promise you, the one where you work out every single day, if you go 2 years down the line, I promise you that guy is richer than the guy who didn't. The 30 minutes or 1 hour, whatever it takes, is worth the investment because it's required for your brain to function properly. So that's the first thing. Everyone should be working out. The second thing, outside of working out and eating well, then you just have to decide about what your goals are, right? And that, look, you're in school. You want to do good at school. Cool. You need to do the amount of work that's required to do good in school. Outside of that, right, you need to decide your primary and your secondary goal. If your primary goal is to do good in school, cool. You need to do that work and get that and do well in school. Now your secondary goal. Every spare second you have needs to be spent on trying to do very well inside the real world, right? It's just priority of goals and then just making sure you're not wasting time. The problem with most people when they ask these time management questions is that they're just wasting loads of time. They're scrolling up and down Instagram. They have a TikTok. They're scrolling through TikTok. They watch movies. Like they're spending their time like very unwisely. That's what I'd say. So time management is all about spending your time wisely, understanding what your goals are and what you want in life, and then spending your time accordingly.
Oh, guys, look who it is. Somebody has crept in on the live. It's the shield of truth and justice. What is going on here?
Mm.
How you doing, Arno?
Hey everyone. Hey Luke, how are you doing, man?
Hey, good, good. How you been?
Excellent. I'm always good. Look, I got the shield. Admit this is the best shield you've ever seen.
I'll admit that that's probably the best shield I've ever seen because I know it's real.
Yes, it's very real.
I can
Like, yeah,
tell.
it's not AI at all. Which, to be fair, like it was funny because Pope sort of whispered to me like, "Hey, there's gonna be like an AMA with you guys," and I'm like, "There's like if all the professors that I know, the two guys that could be AI is you and Pope." I swear to God. Like I'm never like I think I shook your hand, Luke, a couple times, and I've seen you in the room, but it could also be like CGI in a light show.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible.
Not impossible. It's true. I might
No.
just be an AI program.
Yeah, yeah. Because, like, to be fair, like I was eating, I was eating steak, so I haven't listened to all of the AMA, but probably like everyone that's been here, what I've always, what I always find interesting, like all of the stuff that you do is it's very concise, it's very efficient, it's very to the point, it's very eloquent. So it's basically almost like an improved version of Chat GPT, which is very suspect. I'm not gonna lie, it's weird.
All right, cool. Thank you, Arno, for joining the AMA as well. So hopefully we can get a multi perspective on some of the questions we've got going. So I'm gonna pick out Tiago. Shout out Tiago. I've been working with him one to one on a particular client. I believe he has now secured and landed. So shout out to you, brother. His question is: what do you believe are the three biggest factors that distinguish TRW students that are absolutely killing it versus those who aren't?
So the first one's hard work. And hard work it's a different definition than what people think, because everyone thinks that hard work is like I'll use a burger analogy, and I don't know, maybe they've put this out into the normal campus, but I know I've done a lecture on this before. And there's two different types of people who flip burgers, right? You work at McDonald's and you flip burgers. There's the type of person who flips the burgers just fine. He flips the burgers, does that for 8 hours a day, and then goes home, right? And he thinks he works hard because he's spending 8 hours a day flipping burgers. That's hard work, right? But there's another guy who he also flips burgers, but he truly works hard, because when he flips burgers, he tries to make sure that when he flips it, it does two perfect flips, lands like on the edge of a coin, and then he will decide which side he wants it to go on by touching it quickly. He's starting to do ninja moves with his 8 hours of time flipping these burgers. And I'm telling you, if you were to look at both of them, they're both burger flippers, and they both think that they work hard. But the guy who truly works hard is the guy you're going to see 10 years later, and he is a burger flipping ninja. He can make the burger flip 5 times. He can make it flip 5 times, catch it midair, knowing what side it's on, and then flip it twice. He's a super ninja. And they both flip burgers 8 hours a day. But the difference between them is that one is truly working hard. One's truly using his mind to try and accomplish a goal. And look, it's a weird goal. Why does this guy care so much about how exactly he flips the burger? And why does he want it to be so that only goes for 10 seconds on the exact dot on one side and then 10 seconds on the other? Versus the other guy who flips burgers, he doesn't really care. He flips his burgers and makes sure they're not burned. And he makes sure everyone's happy, right? His employer's not mad with him. He flips burgers just fine. But I hope this can illustrate how some people truly, truly work hard. And some people, they think they work hard because they work long, but they're not really using their brain. They're not trying to the best of their ability. And that's what I think is the truly big differentiator between the successful, the real world students, and the ones who aren't that successful. And I think you have to learn how to work hard. You have to learn what it means to truly try your best, right? Because you don't know most of you guys have probably never truly, truly tried your very best at something ever. Like, I mean, as good as if your life genuinely depended on it. Like, a lot of you guys will say you have. Oh, no, I tried really hard at that time. But it wasn't really as hard as you could possibly push. Were you sacrificing everything to get the goal done? Like, I'd argue that most of you guys haven't experienced that yet. So you guys don't even know what yourself trying hard even looks like. So you just have to keep pushing harder and harder and harder, using your mind, trying to solve whatever the goal may be, and thinking about innovative ways to do it. People also mistake hard work for just kind of doing like grunt work, like doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and hoping that the situation will change. But that's not what hard work looks like. Hard work looks like, okay, let me try this. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, but maybe, okay, let me try it again, because this time might be a little different. Okay, that still didn't work. Okay, what could it be? And now you go into your bed, you sleep at night, and you think, how could I have solved that? And then you wake up in the morning, you're getting your morning coffee, and you're thinking, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do today. How am I going to get that done? And then you think, okay, well, let me try this. And you try another thing. and you fail over and over and over again, and each time you're trying a little different thing, a small thing, people are thinking you're crazy because they're like, well, what's the difference between the thing you tried yesterday and the thing you're trying today? And you explain it. It's this minute little detail that you've done differently and how it might be the game changer. And that's what real hard work looks like. And I think that the people who do very well, they're really putting their effort in. They're really using their mind. They understand, because I think school also does this a lot, where school teaches you that you can kind of almost just give up and you'll get the answer easily, right? Like a lot of people, when you always have the teacher who knows more than you're quick to give up, right? Because it's like, okay, well, I could either spend 4 hours trying to figure this out, or I could kind of just give up here, raise my hand, and then ask the teacher, and they'll show me the answer within 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And it gets people into this habit of giving up quite quickly. And look, it's important to, I'm not saying don't ask the teacher and don't get guidance from people who are ahead of you. I'm not saying don't get guidance, but this is very different. This is offloading your thinking to the teacher. It's a very different thing. And I do think that school kind of programs that into you. So it's something where I think a lot of you guys, I know you think you work hard, and I don't mean to offend you when I say you're not really working that hard, but it's just, I don't believe that you understand exactly what hard work looks like. It's creative problem solving. It's sitting down. It's dreaming about how do you solve it. Like for you guys, how do you get your first client? That should be all that is on your mind for your entire life. And look, you guys are at different stage of the client getting stage. Maybe some of you guys really can't make good content. You guys aren't a good editor. So you answering the question of, okay, how do I get my first client? It's going to be, I need to learn how to edit well. I need to learn how to get good content. Some of you guys might make amazing content. You're just not reaching out to people. You're just not good at selling yourself, right? That's a completely different problem you need to solve, but the goal has always stayed the same. So hopefully this helps you guys anyway. I've noticed that for my campus, I like to mention hard work a lot of the time. I like to mention you guys need to become world champions, guys. The world is a very competitive place. You should become the world champion of content creation. You should become the best. That's what your goal should be. And if it is, and you truly work on it 24 hours a day, every single day, and you're truly working hard, I guarantee you reach it. Guaranteed. I promise you. Guaranteed you'll reach it. If you think you're trying your best and you haven't reached it, it's either one of two things. You're actually not working hard because you're not actually trying to understand the game and understand how it works. Or two, it's just not been enough time. You're making progress. You're doing everything right. It's just not been enough time to see the progress. You can't expect to become a world champion boxer in 3 months, can you? Right? So I want you guys to also keep that in mind too. But that's the big difference I've noticed. And it's something that I've been going really, really hard on with my lectures. A lot of my lectures are based on this idea of teaching people that it's a competitive world. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard work. And it's going to take time. It's going to take time and hard work and dedication. But you guys have the best teachers, and you guys are learning as fast and as easy as possible. But just because it's the fastest and easiest way does not mean it will be fast, and does not mean it will be easy. So something to keep in mind.
No, I couldn't agree more. Like one of the things that comes up in my campus a lot when I get questions is it's this stuff. Like someone says, yeah, just tell me what to do. I'm willing to work hard. And that just means like you're willing to put in the slave labor, which I understand. That would be easy. Like if I told you like do this and push this button 16 times a minute and then you'll be rich. Yeah, everyone could do that. But that's not really it's the same thing with people like you get like wages and they demand like a pay raise because now they have 3 years experience or 5 years experience. But if you've been doing the same fucking thing and you've not been getting better, you just have 1 year's experience times 5 because you're not getting better at all. So this is like a concentrated effort thing. So the question I believe was like, what are the top 3 things? I think Luke just gave you the one thing, which is more than sufficient. If you do that,
yeah, that's the one and only thing.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything more
100%.
than that. The second thing I'll say, and this is something you guys can't change, is some people do join and they have a little bit more experience than you in some way. Like, right, let's say some of you guys, this is your first time ever trying to make money ever, right? This is your first time ever trying to make money. You've never even thought about trying to make money before. There might be a guy who joins here and he's been kind of half-assing trying to make money, right? Like when you guys see, like some of you guys might end up half-assing this, right? You might be like, let me try. I'm doing this while I'm doing school too. These half-ass attempts do actually add up because while you're in here, you are still learning. You at least know you're at least learning something. You're learning something here and there. And the one other differentiator is some people have a little bit of like, I tried this and that. I kind of know what e-commerce is. I tried to make an e-commerce store, but it broke and it didn't work and it never made money. And like these little things. But the biggest differentiator is hard work. If you are in here for 6 months to 1 year and you are actually working hard and you actually wake up every single day thinking, how am I get my first client? I can guarantee you'll get it. If you're skilled, I think you can probably do it within, let's say, 3 to 2 months. If you're skilled, if you're a gifted person who's naturally gifted, or if you have some experience before. But that's just what I've noticed in general. And so that's the second one, but that one doesn't matter because it doesn't change anything. The big one that is the just super, it's like 90% of it's this, is that the guys who make it, I'm telling you, they're thinking about how they solve the problem. They're not thinking about, okay, how do I do slave labor? They're thinking about, okay, how do I get my first client? What is the actual thing that I need to do?
Yeah, what I wanted to ask you, Luke, I'd be interested in this. So I live in the Netherlands, right, which is a silly place, but there's near where I live, there's a factory, and the factory has been like on the brink of closing for 30 years. It's amazing. Like they keep laying off people, and every 2 or 3 years there's a news item, and they say, yeah, well, the factory, it's on the brink of closing, and we've had to like sack 50% of the people. And it's interesting because they keep interviewing those people, and then they always say, well, I never saw this coming. This is like, I'm completely surprised. And what the thing that keeps happening is that they describe their job, and as far as I've been able to tell, for the past 20 years, their job has been the same. Like they push some machinery, and then they push a button, and they do something else. And then I saw this parallel where like AI came up, and people were like stressing out, like, oh my god, is this gonna make me irrelevant? Is this gonna erase my job? And my answer has always been like, if an orangutan, like if a talented orangutan could take your job, yeah, then you're probably fucked. Because at one point, like they're gonna domesticate the orangutans, or they're gonna have like an AI do it or whatever. But you should be able to extend your reach beyond that of a talented orangutan, right?
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think the world and money belongs to the problem solvers. That's how I see it. And that's why I try and teach all my students. I try and teach them how to be problem solvers. At the end of the day, you just have to be the guy who solves problems. AI is just a tool to solve this problem. And I'm telling you guys that this is a very big problem that a lot of people have, a lot of businesses have, to where they don't have good video editors and content creators. I promise you that that's a problem. I've spoken to loads of businesses. I've spoken to loads of them, and every single one of them, oh, okay, but can you give me a good video editor, or do you know a good video editor, or can you tell me to have a good video editor? And I'm like, and my answer is super simple: no, I cannot, because if I knew one, I'd hire them myself. No, I don't have a good video editor for you. Sorry, bro. It's too valuable. I need to keep them all here. So just keep that in mind, guys. You guys it's a very important problem you guys are solving, and you guys are in here to become the best at solving that problem. And the world will always be yours if you become someone who just solves problems. That's what people give you money for. And that's another thing. When you guys get clients, I want you to understand exactly why that client is paying you. A lot of people who have just normal jobs, they completely forget this. I see it all the time. They've completely forgotten that they are paid to solve a problem.
True.
Like that's what they're paid for. And when AI takes their job, it's going to be like, oh, but I was good at my job and I did it all the time. It's like, yes, I understand that. But I can get the same exact problem solved for free using this program. So why would I give you money?
Exactly.
Like, you don't solve any addition to the problem. In fact, you being a human just makes you more of a problem, because now I have to worry about your feelings and HR, and I have to think about this and that and this, and maybe you're on leave one day. The AI robot just makes it super simple. But anyway, the way to be future-proof, I guess the end of this kind of rant, is just be a problem solver. If you're a problem solver, I promise you'll never run out of a job. There's plenty of problems that need to be solved, and AI is just a tool for the problem solvers to use. It's not coming to take any problem solver's job, because the AI can identify a problem and then solve it. It's just a tool.
Do you agree that orangutan is the best ape, though?
I don't have an opinion on the great apes. I think it's a great ape. I don't even know if it is. But
It's
to be honest, though, I guess I do have an affinity to the orangutan. So I'm going to say yes.
Thank you.
All
Appreciate it.
right. Okay. And geez, let me just chime in there, going back to the hard work element and from a content creation perspective, right? I want you all, those who are quite comfortable in creating content, explore your bandwidth. I don't think people do this. I remember specifically working behind the scenes for TRW, and I literally said to myself, right, okay, I'm gonna explore how many edits I can get done in the space of a week to the point where I completely crash. And I think it was something like 45 edits, long form, 30 plus minutes content in a week. And I remember on the Monday, I was like, okay, I can't edit. I literally could not edit. So I took that 24 hours out. And then on the Tuesday, I said, okay, I now know where my absolute bandwidth is. And I'm going to try my best to work just underneath it every day. That way, I'm working at a complete optimal. So try and explore where your kind of crash point is. I would genuinely advise you to do that, to figure out how many edits you can get done in a day, how many edits you can get done in a week. It will help you gauge where you kind of need to work underneath. Um, yeah. Okay. Next question is from Yen Chin Chu. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing your name correctly. The question's an interesting one, Pope. Arno and Luke. He's asking, um, should any money that goes into optimizing your health be considered an investment, like buying supplements or items to aid in sleep?
Oh yeah,
I,
I super like this question.
I think so.
I give
Yep.
it a star because it's 100%, a billion percent. It's the best investment you can possibly do. It's a super good question because when I was super 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 broke, and I mean really broke, the only things I bought were food, books to try and get better at computer science, and health things. If I needed a weight so I could do some sort of training or anything health wise, some supplements or anything, those were the only things I bought. Everything else is waste. Like restaurant waste. You need to just get nutrients into your body to become strong and just to be free of mind. So absolutely, it's one of the best investments you can make, and that's a much better investment. Investing in yourself, whether it's your education or your health, is a much better investment than investing in any asset, like
Yeah.
investing in a house or cryptocurrency, whatever that is. That's
Or
all. Crypto. I remember having this because I had this thought in my brain. I had $50 in my bank account, and I said, okay, I can either buy a book for $40, which might teach me how to do better at cybersecurity, so I can try and get a job there. Or I've just heard about Bitcoin, and this was a while ago. This was like 2018. I was like, okay, or I could put this $50 into Bitcoin, right? And this was my logic. It was super simple. Let's say Bitcoin does it 10 times. 10 times is the price, right? That means I made $500.
yeah.
$500 can't even make it so I can afford an apartment. I still will have to sleep on the couch. It doesn't change anything. Nothing changes. If the Bitcoin 10 times is its price, the best possible solution changes my life literally zero. Versus if I get this book and I read this book and I can get a job, that already makes me an extra what, $4,000 a month every single month. Now I can get an apartment. So little brain things like these guys, you'll quickly understand what's worth investing and what's not.
True. Yeah, couldn't agree more. And like mostly, I think I got this as a FAQ in my campus. But like people ask me all the time, like, okay, I got like $50, $500, even $5,000. What do I do with it? Well, the answer is always like invest in you, like better health, invest in your business, invest in scaling. Because to be fair, like if you look at what investing actually is, you're gonna spend money or invest money, and either you're going to bet on you, which is usually a good idea if you believe in you, which you should, or you're going to bet on someone else. And the someone else never has your best interest at mind. He has his
True.
best interest in mind, obviously, and maybe you can ride along that. But you should be so invested in you, and so you should believe in yourself enough to bet on you, right?
True. I never thought of it like that. Another thing I talk about for investing is that investing in assets and stuff like that, cryptocurrency and all that stuff, that's only useful because it's liquid so that you can invest a lot of money. Like you can't buy 10 bench presses
Yeah.
Like buying 10 bench presses doesn't help you any more than buying one bench press. So quickly you will get to the point where, like right now, for education, for example, on the education of making money, I really think all of you guys are covered. You don't need any supplementation to what we're teaching you. Like with my program, there's nothing you need supplemented. Maybe some small AI programs. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you guys use Photoshop or Adobe. I don't know. But like those things, sure. But like outside of that, like you're done on education and you're done on that stuff. So now it's just really just physical fitness, and eventually you'll reach where most people reach, which is you can't invest in yourself more than money won't save you anymore. Now it's about the time. Now it's about the time you put in to get better at something. Now it's about the time. That's when you can start looking at liquid investments like cryptocurrency or a house or whatever it may be, because that's where it starts to get like, okay, well, there's no point in me buying 10 bench presses. I have all the education I need. There's no point in me getting more subscriptions because it's really just I need to spend my time learning. I need to spend my time working hard. So that's when you can start to think of liquid investments. That's the only thing that, until you've maxed out investing in yourself, liquid investments should be the last thing on your mind. You shouldn't care at all. Oh, this coin might 100 times. Cool. I don't care. I need to invest in this in my health, or I need to invest in this in my education, and I don't have the money. So let me do that first. Let me check off all my boxes, invest in myself to the max of my ability, to where the only thing I need left is time. And then you can start to look at liquid investments. So just my thoughts on that.
True.
There's a question here from Lagon. I think I'm pronouncing your name right, brother. If you're a chronic loner who only works and exercise, what would be your advice to enjoy life more outside of just touch the grass, bro?
So that's a good question. And I consider myself a loner, but I also don't at the same time, because I have a very unique trait that I gained from playing video games for so long. I super enjoy just texting people. You can ask Arno or Pope.
That's true.
I super enjoy just messaging people. I don't even need to be on the phone. I don't need to talk to anyone. If I am messaging you, I feel like I'm right there with you, brother. Like it makes zero difference to me whether I can see you in the eye and shake your hand or whether I'm just texting you. It makes zero difference to my brain. That's a unique thing I have. But the funnest thing in the world is to be working with your boys. That's the funnest thing. To try and solve a problem with your boys at the same time. Like you can team up with a dude, right? Content creation is not easy, man. I know it's not easy. And look, you might prefer working on like by yourself, right? You might prefer working by yourself, making the content. Cool. But why don't you get a partner who sells your content, right? The partner who gets you the clients. You supply him with the ammo, right? All the videos and all the content. And you're the mastermind who makes the beautiful works of art. And then he sells the works of art. Now you've got a buddy that you can talk to all the time. You got a buddy, and it's an efficient buddy, and it's a win-win relationship. And you guys have something to always talk about. How do we make more money? What's the problem here? Okay, well, you need to outreach more clients. And yeah, man, that last client, I showed him this artwork and he didn't really like it. I could tell that that's where it shifted. Can you make an improvement on this? Maybe change this. And you're like, cool, I've got it. Boom, boom. And now you're two boys about to conquer Earth as the business tycoons. Like I guarantee you guys, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all these people, they always had a boy that they were in the office with, right? They always had a boy that they were working with. I promise you guys, they didn't do it alone. None of them have ever done it alone. They always had some dude, because it's the only way to make business super fun. It's another reason why these communities are also super useful, is you've got all your boys in here. So that's where I personally get my, instead of saying touch grass, I tell my students always to try and work with other students if any way possible. And 2, find a gym buddy. There's no reason that you should be going to the gym alone. True. As long as you can find a person to go to the gym with. Because men are very good at pushing each other to their limits. Men are very good at, when you're around them, you work harder. Like when you know that guy is waiting on you, you'll work harder. Especially then he starts to message you. Yo, bro, like what's happening? What's going on? And you get those chases. It's just pushing you to work harder. If it's same with weightlifting, same with any sport, being around your boys is a superpower. So that's how I personally socialize. And I'd consider myself quite a loner by standards. A lot of people say, oh, well, you never see anyone. Well, I'm talking to so many people all the time. I think I'm the most social person on earth. But anyway, that's my answer to that question.
How are your plans doing, man?
They're
Just
doing
have to-
okay. One
yeah.
died. And
Ah,
so I know which one's the little bitch plant. Don't get those plants. They're like palm plants. Those are useless. But the snake
not
plants
a
are fucking
glaze.
soldiers. It's growing, bro.
Okay, glad to hear that, man.
Yeah.
I like to weigh in on the social aspect. I think Luke is spot on. What always worked for me, and what is going to work for you very easily. If you're a man, and I'm going to assume that you are, because most of the people in here are men. Anything involving sports or gym or athletic endeavors, that always helps. Like if you just do shit together, that's awesome. So if you're not a social guy, if you find it hard to meet people, go to the boxing gym, go to the fighting gym, go to the gym, and you'll meet people just fine. Trust me. And obviously, go through the best campus, which is Business Mastery Campus. There's a social skills program there. Yeah. So
You,
And
Arno can't help himself without saying that I'm one of these
And
lads, bro.
one more little piece of advice, and this is something that's helped me. And again, I put myself in that kind of more loner category. Is that it's not easy to talk with people when you have nothing to talk about.
Mm.
yeah,
It's very, very easy to talk with people when you guys have a shared goal in mind, even if that's an individual goal, right? It's very easy to talk about boxing when you want to get good at boxing. It's very easy to talk about chess when you're trying to get good at chess. And if the other person is the exact same, if two people who are trying to get good at chess are in the same room, it's super easy for them to talk to each other. Because they both have had different experiences. Maybe this guy does that opening. Maybe this guy does that opening. Okay, well, how do you counter that? Okay, well, that's interesting. Okay, like you have unlimited to talk about. So the biggest problem I find when people are, let's say, quote unquote loners, it's that everyone around them doesn't like think about or care about anything that they care about. And that's where the gym's perfect. Any gym, that those people all care about that. Any sort of club, if you're in a soccer club, like they all care about soccer. It's going to be very easy if you guys are actually just trying to get good at soccer to talk about things. You could talk about soccer all day, I'm sure. I don't know how to because I don't care about soccer. I don't care to get good. I don't care about the science behind soccer. Like, I don't know the pressure that the soccer ball is supposed to be in. I don't know any of these things. But I bet you a super good soccer player could talk about the fucking grass of a soccer field and talk about the difference between, I've played on this type of grass and that type of grass. I can guarantee you that a high enough level of soccer, they could talk about little bullshit like that, such as the grass.
true.
So that's a
Yeah.
source of unlimited conversations.
It's football, by the way. It's football.
It's the
And
same.
yeah, and geez, I just
It's
want to
not.
say something. So I did the previous or the first episode of the Wudan Energy Calls, and part of what I said there is, geez, like I work all the time, and guess what? It's okay. It genuinely is okay. I don't have no hobbies. Most I do is combat sport, as Arno said, and it's okay. And I expect it to be hard because the goals that I have are huge compared to the average person, and it's fine. You've got to be able to tell yourself it's fine. You're working hard, and you work all the time. It's not a problem. Okay, Noble actually turns around and gives a shout out to all three of us. He said, shout out to the AI Pope, the legend Luke, and of course, the Midget King. We are so lucky to have the
I am the midget
crossover.
king. This is true.
Yeah. There's a great question here, which is I think it comes back off of me talking about the bandwidth or exploring your bandwidth. And it's about Luke, Arno, how do you go about pushing your limits?
So that's a good question, and to be honest, I'm at this point where work is fun for me. So like I've been able to, as I told you guys before, I played a lot of video games as a kid. I've always been a very obsessed person with solving problems. So controlling my bandwidth is actually quite easy for me because I'm just on 24/7. It's just sometimes it might be in war mode, and war mode is something you go in very temporarily because it's not sustainable. That's when you're starting to get sleep deprived. That's when you're starting to like really, really push yourself. But I'm not in that state of. I only go in that state when I need to, which is it's more often than never. But like I only go in that state when it's really something super important and I need to get that done, and there's a time limit and I need to get that done. Otherwise, it's just I genuinely enjoy all the work I do. I enjoy working with my boys. I genuinely enjoy talking to you guys, and I know that some of you guys are gonna take one little thing I said and it's going to change the game for you. And then you're just going to go out there and you're going to be killing the game and you're going to be I enjoy it. I enjoy the work. So it's almost like playing a video game to me. Talking to you guys is like playing a video game. All of it's like playing a video game. So control, like the bandwidth thing, like, and not getting burnout. It's not hard really. It's just I do my workouts, I get my health in order, right? And then after that, it's just playing a video game the rest of the time. So working's super fun, and I do believe that all men in general have this innate desire to solve problems. I think that in general, that's why video games are so addicting, because they're just a fun problem to try and solve. But very quickly, you guys will learn, especially if you guys start teaming up with your boys, you guys will learn that business is just a fun problem to solve. Everything you guys do is just a fun problem to solve. Okay, well, how am I going to get more money? Okay, well, let's try this. Let's try that. Okay, let's do this. Let's do that. It becomes a fun game. And then once it's a fun game and it becomes really addicting, I don't know what else I'd do with my time other than work. So, like, people could say I'm a workaholic, but it's not even work to me. It's like I'm just doing something I enjoy to do all the time. It's not bad. Like, I don't feel bad. But there's sometimes more.
Honestly, I genuinely honestly think that, like, I don't know how it is to be a woman, because I've never been a woman. Maybe I'll be one tomorrow. We'll see. But for now, I've just been a man. But I genuinely, honestly believe that every guy, every man, basically what he does in life is solve problems. Now, if you're like, I had a brother-in-law. He's now my ex-brother-in-law, and used to be an alcoholic. And like his problem that he was trying to solve, like, how can I get from like 41 beers a day to 42 beers a day? Which, that's a challenge. Like, it would be a challenge for me. It's a big number, but probably not the best problem to be able to solve.
Yep.
And I genuinely think, like, porn, video games, take anything else. Like, it's all a problem and they're putting this stuff in front of you because you want to figure it out, but way better to figure out, business, making money, getting healthier. It's just whatever you focus on.
100% agree with you, Arno.
Yeah.
There's a really good, interesting question, right? Thought-provoking question for all of us. It's directed at Luke, so we'll send it over to Luke. Is what will you tell yourself at the age of 80?
You'll be
I
senile.
don't think. I have a theory. I don't think I'll be senile at all. I think you get senile when you kind of get bored and you can't find new problems you want to solve. So I don't think I'll get senile at all. But what I told myself, I like to believe and I like to think that I'll be very, very proud of myself and how far I've gotten, and be very grateful for my life. I'll be very happy that I made it to 80. I can guarantee you that I'd say that, because I already say it now. I'm like, man, you're a lucky bastard. You've got this many years on Earth. Man, we're super lucky. And I often think of all the times where it really could have changed completely different for me, but I made the right decision at the right time. And I'm super happy I did that. And maybe there was a little bit of luck involved, and I'm super grateful. So I just think I'd be very grateful for my life. And yeah, that's a guaranteed thing. I'd be super happy if I make it to 80. I'd be super happy. That'd be awesome. So that's the only thing I can know for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it should be like the goal should, because I'm 38. I'm almost there, right? A couple of years.
Bro, basically, you're basically there. It's around the corner, Arno.
It's getting close. But the goal should be that, yeah, shit. Like, when I look back, that's a life well lived. I did everything I wanted to do, or at least I tried everything that I wanted to do. You can never do everything, but you can try.
Yeah, I think anyone can be happy as long as they truly know in their heart that they tried their best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
Agree.
And guys, genuinely, if you do genuinely try your best, and I mean genuinely try your best, and I mean even trying your best when it comes to like quitting your bad habits, right? Like, okay, well, I scroll too much Instagram. Okay, let me try deleting Instagram. Okay, and then maybe 2 weeks later you relapse. Okay, I downloaded Instagram again, and then maybe 2 weeks later you're like, oh no, I need that. Like those even the constant struggles with trying to try your best. Even those, I just promise you, if you've tried your best your entire life, I can't imagine a time where you look back and you're sad. Like, if you've always told the truth, if you've always been honorable, if you've always been honest, if you've always been a good friend, if you've tried your very best and your very hardest, I just find it hard to believe that you wouldn't be happy with where you end up. I find it really hard, because I'm not special. I'm very happy where I ended up. And I really just tried hard. It's really my only gift, really, if you could call it that. It's just I'm able to try hard for long periods of time.
Agree.
Yep, 100%. There's a question here for Luke again. I'm in college studying cybersecurity. Also currently making money with copywriting. Not a lot, but enough. And I'm working on scaling. The reason I'm studying cybersecurity is because I believe it is a very valuable skill to have. As a former IT student, what advice do you have for me, who's living two of these realities?
So I can just tell you the route I took. I still super enjoy cybersecurity. I find it super interesting. I find it extremely, extremely interesting. I consider it, but I treat it as a hobby. It's not how I make money.
Yeah.
I think marketing and sales is the best way to make money, and I think you should have very interesting hobbies. And one of those very interesting hobbies of me is cybersecurity. So I enjoy it. I still follow it. It's basically all my Twitter follows is basically cybersecurity experts. I find it
Luke,
super interesting. All
Luke,
these
you
hacks
have to
out
tell
there,
them. You have to
like
tell them about your like the way you wipe your computer clean every 2 hours or
I
something.
do loads of stuff, bro. I super enjoy cybersecurity, and I still do. I always have. I'm very grateful for all the time that I've been in cybersecurity, and I've never made a dime in cybersecurity. I thought it was going to be what's going to make me rich. I truly did, and guess what? Haven't made a dime. Never. I mean, I made a little bit, like $500 here or there, but I've never made any serious money in cybersecurity. And it's just I enjoy it as a hobby. So that's the route I took. I don't want to dissuade you from a job in cybersecurity. Look, the cybersecurity industry is only going to get more and more in demand. It really truly is. As lives get more and more digital, right? People are going to need the little cyber soldiers. They're going to be necessary. The same way that you need bodyguards in the real world, the same way you need security in the real world. Everyone needs security in the cyberspace. So it's very important. There will always be a role for it. My personal belief is that you will make more money in sales and marketing faster than if you spent all that time in cybersecurity. Because at the end of the day, the security guards, they get paid well. They get paid really well. Don't get me wrong, they do get paid well, but no one makes the security guard a billionaire, do they? You've never heard of a billionaire security guard.
It's very
Yeah,
rare.
never.
Yeah, it's
Never.
very rare. So just that's my opinion and what I went with it. But absolutely, bro, I love cybersecurity. I think it's a great thing to spend your time on. I think it's super worth your time.
I agree. Like it's a good technical skill. I remember a while back we had like a professor meeting like on Zoom or something, and Luke is like he's like ultra paranoid with security, and I as a joke I said yeah I just I have the same password for everything. I just use the same password for everything. So my name and my birth date. And like there was this pregnant silence for a while, and that people understood I was joking around. That was funny.
Yeah, because we take cybersecurity super seriously. Because I can only imagine if some dude hacked my account and then started posting the crypto campus. Oh, we have a new coin. Buy this coin. Like.
Holy
So
shit.
yeah, bro. Literally, bro. I'm telling you, we are the targets of loads of cybersecurity attacks. Just so some dude can try and do that to the students. Just so, guys, if you guys ever see a professor say buy this coin, it's some random scam coin. Understand they probably got hacked. But anyway, we work very hard to make sure that's not possible. But cybersecurity is a very important skill.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%. There's a question I've had a few times. I've not actually seen it pop up just yet. But I know there's Mo, you're probably listening in. I try to answer it the best I can, but I'd love to know yours and Arnold's opinion on it. Is how do you deal with imposter syndrome?
So imposter syndrome, it's an interesting one because I think let me try and first define it first. I think imposter syndrome is when it's when you think that the world is actually not just men. I'm pretty sure that's what it basically comes down to. It's the idea that there's these professionals out there, right? There's these people that are
Yeah.
good at things and they're out there. But I don't deal with it because eventually, I promise you guys will all do this. This will happen to every single one of you guys. And it might already happen to you guys super, super young. There's some like 17-year-olds, 20-year-olds who know more marketing and sales than like any professional in quotes. Because I've hired loads of these professionals, and I'm putting these in quotes. I've hired loads. 30, 40-year-old guys who have made 7 figures and, they're looking for a job in sales or marketing for whatever reason. I've hired loads of professionals. Guys, they're not actually professionals. Like they're fine, they're okay, but they're not God. Like there's kids who would smoke these people, and Don't worry about imposter syndrome, bro. The whole world is just humans. I promise you, Elon Musk is just a human who just has been spending his 24 hours very wisely to try and solve some problems. And now he's what, like 60 something, 50 something. He's just been playing the game a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not that special, guys. I promise you guys. If you guys are younger than me, you guys can catch up very easily if you spend your time wisely. If you spend your 24 hours a day trying to become the best at marketing and sales, I promise you'll surpass me if you're starting before me. So like it's just about spending your time wisely. The world is just a bunch of men. The guys who you see who are really pros, they just spent more time than you. They just spent more quality hours than you. That's really the only difference.
You're being very generous when you say like the world is just comprised of men, because as far as like my favorite saying is like, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. And I remember hearing that for the first time. I had a little, I was in elementary school, I believe. I had a little picture on it with a dude, like it's an eye with two legs under it, which is kind of weird because how would you eat, for example? But that's beside the point. But in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king means that you can assume that whatever you're doing, like if you're actually somewhat good at it, you're already like 80% ahead. Like you're ahead of 80% of the people. It's the level of incompetence across all different spheres, all different demographics, all different types of like professions. It's amazing. It's incredible. Like people are so incompetent. Like it's
He
a
is so
miracle
right.
that society works.
He is so right, guys. There are genuinely people who can't solve like if the button was if the problem was, please press this button every single day at 10 a.m. on the dot every single day. Guys, I promise you, hiring for that position would actually be very difficult. Like, I want you to understand the level that at which you're competing in the workplace, because I promise you that solving that problem would be extremely difficult if you had to do a human.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, so, some people, by the way, are asking what is imposter syndrome. So, like, I think if you had to do like a definition or an explanation, it would be like you're doing something, and while you're doing it, you're like, am I really that good at this? Am I the best at this? Like, there must be many more people way better at this,
Yeah.
right?
I might know the definition actually. It's something like a clearer one. It's like, and I think imposter syndrome hits people when they're like, no way that it can be this easy to make money. Like, I think that's the thing where people think, oh, well, there's no way. I must be lying to people. Like I must be tricking them somehow. He just gave me this much money to do this. Like this wasn't that hard. But no, guys, making money actually is not that hard. Don't get that like just because like you can make $10,000 doing very like things that you learn within 6 months or a year. Imagine that. Genuinely imagine that in your brain. A surgeon requires like 8 years to make that amount of money. 8 to 10 years of hard, dedicated training. But I promise you, eventually, you guys will see. When you guys start making the money, you'll be like, man, that wasn't really that hard. Like, yeah, I tried my very best every single day for X amount of time. But, like, I'm here now, and it actually, like, I just tried hard. I just worked really hard. Like, it becomes like, and I think that's where people get imposter syndrome, when they're very surprised about, like, it kind of shatters their mind. I've got a lot of people who I work with who, like, it shatters their mind how money's made. It kind of, like, broke their brain. Like, they're like, wait, it was always like this? Like, but why are there poor people? It's like, bro, you don't understand. They would not fulfill the role of pressing a button every single 10 a.m. You don't understand. There'd be one day where they don't press the button at 10 a.m. and then everything blows up. And it's like, why did I hire that person? Like, they had one super simple job. And I promise you guys, when you guys will all eventually start hiring people. As you scale, you'll need more manpower. It's always the way it will go. All businesses, I think, start and as like 1 or 2 guys max. 1, 2 guys. I would never even go 3. Doing different roles, making some money. And eventually, one guy who's the master at, let's say, content creation, he needs other hands to help him create content because there's too much demand. Yeah. And that's where a business starts to scale and stuff. And once you guys start to scale, I promise you, when you're looking for that one dude to just be able to just copy and paste this one thing, you're going to be like, bro, how is it so hard to find this man? Like, he doesn't exist. This dude fucked it up this way. This dude fucked it up that way. This dude did that. This dude doesn't show up sometimes. This dude, like, you guys will realize that there's really not much competition.
True.
Just looking for another question. I think I've got a good one. It's more directed to you, Luke, and I think you did a great lesson on this actually, which is more related to flipping the coin, right? But basically, the question is, how do you speak so concisely with very minimal breaks, pauses, etc.? What have you done to speed up your processing of what you say next?
He's AI. Come on now. It's
I'm
not
not
fair.
AI. So this is something that I'm quite. It comes with the job, right? I speak lessons. I probably do a lesson like 1 to 3 a day every single day, and I've been doing that for what, a year now, something like that. So I'm always talking. But the real trick is one, practice. That's the true trick. If I'm going to tell you the real trick is just to speak all the time. And the second trick is just to know what you're going to speak about and stop speaking when you don't know what you want to talk about. When I'm doing all these lectures, I have a very specific idea I'm trying to get into your head. I'm trying to answer your question. I understand your question. You're saying, please give me information on this subject. And I'm thinking, okay, how do I handle this? Okay, well, I handled it this way. This is why I'm able to speak. This is why. Okay, let me get that in his brain so he understands it. And once I think I've got everything out, I just stop speaking.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I got like the editor is working on it, but I did like a public speaking course in my campus, and it's going to go over this as well. But if you make it a point to only talk about stuff you know, it becomes like 100 times easier. Like I couldn't talk about the sex life of the Tibetan ant or something because that would be hard. I don't know that much, but if I have to talk about, let's say social skills, sales, medieval weaponry, shields, I can do that all day, easy.
Um, what's the mindset required for success?
I like to think I've explained it by now. It's really that
Yeah.
hard-working bit and the burger flipping analogy. I really think that's like 90% of it is actually using your brain to actually try and get good at the problem you're trying to solve. All of you guys in here, you're trying to solve the really simple question of how do I get money in the bank through content creation? Okay, well, that's going to require to convince someone to give you money. What's the best way to convince someone to give you money? To be able to convince them that you can solve their problem. Now you just need to find all the people out there, and there are tons of them, with the problem that they have a shit video editor who's not fast, who's not good. He's not able to make magic out of raw content that's just very eh. He's just not good. He's not Superman. And you guys are becoming Supermen. So then you just have to go out there, find that dude, say, hi, your dude's shit. I'm Superman. I can do your shit 10 times better. Boom, let's do it. And just convince them. Boom. Money in your bank account. Simple. It's just whether you're in the process of, I believe all of you guys in here are in the process of becoming Superman. But as soon as that process is done, then it's just about learning to convince people that you're Superman. Nice and easy. Boom, boom, boom. And I promise you guys are being taught the best, most advanced and modern ways that businesses pray for you guys. I promise you guys, if you guys are becoming popes, Pope is the most wanted man in like the world. Every business wants him. He's the ultimate archetype. If you guys learn everything Pope does, you'll have zero problems making tons of money. Zero
Because
issues.
He's AI though.
I suppose he's AI though.
He's not even saying anything about me, which is an insult. But okay, I'll take it.
It's because this is the content creation campus, and that's where these guys are all on.
Yeah,
That's what Pope's trying to do. He's trying to make mini hymns. And I promise you guys, that's what I try and do with the affiliate marketing campus. I try and make mini me's. I try and put every idea. I try and make the best versions of myself. I try and grab everything that's very useful for affiliate marketing and for marketing and sales and making money. And I try and condense it so that hopefully people understand my mindset. They understand. And I take whether it does well based on if my students do well. If my students are doing well, I know I'm on the right step. The lessons are doing good. And I just try and make my students do better and better and better and better. I have metrics to track how my students are doing in general. And I just try and make that number only go up. And that's my job.
Yeah, that's awesome. What if I may, Pope, one question that came along and that I would be interested in on Luke's take and yours as well, Pope. Someone asked, like, what is your take on intelligence? Like, how important is that a factor in your success? Like innate intelligence, IQ, put it like that.
Yeah. So I have an interesting take on this because it's two things. One, there's no point thinking about intelligence. That's the first thing. If you're going to do one takeaway, you shouldn't even care about whether you're considered high IQ, low IQ. It really doesn't matter because what does it change about what you do other than try your best? The information's not actionable. It's not actionable information. I suppose the only actionable is kind of knowing for yourself. So maybe if you're low IQ, you'll have more patience with yourself. And if you're high IQ, I honestly think there's no advantage to thinking you're high IQ. I truly don't. And I don't consider myself high IQ.
It's
I
an
don't
active
think there's any advantage.
disadvantage.
I don't think there's any advantage. Like you might be more happy that you have some genetics. Like
No,
it makes no
brother.
sense to me.
I would say it's an active disadvantage. Like I
Yeah,
swear
I
to
agree.
God, like,
I agree. More
for the
likely to be
longest
lazy,
time.
more likely to be arrogant, more likely
Yeah,
to. It's harder to motivate yourself if you think that
true.
you're the best and you're God's gift to earth and that you're naturally so good. Why
Yeah.
would you try your best? You're constantly half-assing things and it works out okay, and you're just going to be average.
I've had like people in my family say to me, "Wow, you're so intelligent. You've got amazing IQ." And I sit there and I think, I don't. I actually don't. Like, I just
At
work
least you're
hard.
pretty, Pope. At least
That's
you're
what I
good
think.
looking.
I just
I think
work hard.
IQ is just hard work. It's just
Yeah.
some of you guys had childhoods where you were working very hard to learn things, like learn how the world works, learn how to move your hand up and down. And some of you guys, I don't know, maybe your parent just put you in front of the TV. I don't know. I don't want to blame your parents, but I'm just saying, like the difference in IQ, I think that like or intelligence, as people like to say, when you're like an adult, like 18, 16, whatever it may be. I think that's just because of how you spent your time all the times you were a kid, and you couldn't really control that. So if you think you're low IQ, or if you think you're high IQ, or you think you're medium IQ, the answer is always the same. Spend the next 24 hours and the rest of your life as well as good as possible. Like there's no. That's why I've never understood that. There's no point in caring about what your IQ may be or maybe isn't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change what you need to do.
True.
All right, geez. What I'm gonna do is I've closed the AMA questions. Thank you all for tuning in live. I guess we'll get like an outro from Arno and Luke, and then from there we'll close off the AMA. I truly hope you've all enjoyed it. I've managed to try and get as diverse questions as possible. So I don't know. Let's do Arno with the outro first because he might be super paranoid. Because last time we made him do the outro, I cut him
Yeah.
off halfway on
You,
purpose.
you cut me
But
off. Yeah. No, I just want to say that I do appreciate all of the diversity in the questions. We do appreciate diversity here. So that's super important. We have a very, very high priority on diversity.
get out of here. Oh no.
So and no, like oh I do very much anytime I do this, I super appreciate it. And it's a special treat when Luke is on here. Guy is super smart. I was when I was on my way here to log in, I was telling my girl what I was going to do, and I said, well, probably of all the people I know, Luke is probably the smartest guy I know. Obviously, except for you, Pope. Obviously, right? You know this, but we're gonna make Luke feel good. But it's always a pleasure just to be around you guys, talk to you guys. It's yeah, it's great. I love spending time with you. I love spending time with the students, and I hope you guys got value from it.
Over to you, Luke. Thanks, Arno.
Yep. Thanks, guys. I don't really have an outro. Hopefully, you guys got all the information that you need. And yeah, any questions? If there's ever send Pope questions of lectures you guys think I should do, that would be helpful to everyone, and I'll do them, no problem. But yeah, so sorry, Pope. They might send you a bunch of things to have to read through, and send me whatever you think you want to hear a lecture on. But I can definitely do that, guys.
100%. Thank you. And geez, I hope you enjoyed the AMA. And yeah, of course, as usual, keep working hard. That's the main thing. That's the thing that I always preach. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So everybody, God bless and peace.
Ciao, guys.